Doesn't the Biden administration have to take some blame for the border, though? A lot of the blame? Because, I mean, the first 3 years, y'all did get a lot of things wrong with the border.
No, Charlamagne, within hours of being inaugurated, the first bill we passed before we did the Inflation Reduction Act, before we did the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act, before we did the Safer Communities Act to deal with gun violence, first thing we dropped was a bill to fix the broken immigration system, which, by the way, Trump did not fix when he was president.
Please disperse. Nothing to see here, please.
The Kamala Harris campaign is having some real issues attracting normal, average, everyday voters. Sure, they have the Democrats, they have the leftists, but they're having some real issues with the independents, real issues with some Hispanics, with some black voters, and of course, men. So what's Kamala Harris going to try to do to shore up this? She's going to go on the far leftist podcast, The Breakfast Club with Charlamagne the God, to make her case and appeal to the demographics she has been losing. But of course, it's not going to go according to plan because she's that awful. Let's go ahead and check this out. But before we get to the clips, please like and comment on this video so we can break through the algorithm. Here we go.
My question to you is, what's your stance on reparations? We all know that America became great, off the backs of free black labor. How progressive are you on making it a priority and righting America's wrongs? It's understood that you are running for president for all people of America. Asking for specifics for black communities doesn't mean don't do for others. But black Americans are heavily asked to vote Democrat in every election for over half a century, with very little in return. What are your plans to address these very important issues and change that narrative?
Thank you, Zeke.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you for your work. So to your point, yes, I am running to be a president for all Americans. That being said, I do have clear eyes about the disparities that exist and the context in which they exist, meaning history, to your point. So my agenda, well, first of all, on the point of reparations, it has to be studied. There's no question about that. And I've been very clear about that position. In terms of my immediate plan, I will tell you a few of the following. One, as it relates to the economy, which is a lot of what you have addressed. Look, I grew up in the middle class. My mother, worked hard, raised me and my sister.
So when asked about reparations, right, you have to study it, and I was born in the middle class. She reverts back to that same canned response she has been giving for over a month. This is hilarious. I mean, the simple idea, though, that you're going to come out and talk about reparations when you're trying to appeal to a larger audience is pretty insane, okay? Now, I know this is the Breakfast Club crew. I know this is what they do. This is what they're all about. But it's just crazy that she would even entertain the idea. We're going to go to the American people who never owned a slave in their entire life, take their tax dollars, and then redistribute it back to black Americans for some wrong from the past, which, by the way, we fought a bloody war to stop. I mean, you want to watch Kamala Harris dig herself into a hole, you go on these leftist podcasts and answer their questions, right? You've already got them, Kamala. You're not appealing to anyone else. You're not broadening your voter base. This is clear insanity. But of course, what else do we expect? All that matters to the left is the identity, politics, and reparations is now a big part of that.
President Obama was out there last week waving his finger at black men. When are Liz Cheney and Hillary Clinton going to wave their finger at white women? When are Bill Clinton and Joe Biden going to wave their finger at white men? Because 52% of white women voted for Trump in 2016. 55% voted for Trump in 2020. They all voted against their own interests. When the finger waving going to start at them?
Well, thank you for highlighting that. I do have the support of over 200 Republicans who worked for various administrations, including everyone going back to Ronald Reagan, to the Bushes, to John McCain and Mitt Romney, and including Liz Cheney. And I'm very proud to have her support. And I believe that many of them who may have voted for Trump before are supporting me because they know the stakes are so high in terms of our very democracy and rule of law. And
so the finger wagging should start today or tomorrow.
Well, I think what is happening is that we are all working on reminding people of what is at stake, and that is very important.
So the lecturing from Barack Obama was not received well by the black community. So of course, what's Charlamagne's answer? We got to, of course, lecture the white people as well. How do you think that's going to go over? Not to mention all the people that Kamala Harris is talking about, the Liz Cheneys, etc. They're people that the left used to hate. And now you're trotting them out as if it's some type of victory for your side. Well, guess what? The right doesn't like them either, right? They're all rhinos. We were glad to be rid of them. That's why Liz Cheney lost in a landslide, okay, when she was up for re-election. So this is not going to do Kamala Harris any favors, right? Look at all these people who have come out in support of me over Donald Trump. All these former cabinet officials, yeah, like General Milley and Omarosa, right? Two bastions of freedom that we really want to emulate, right? This messaging is going to fall flat because no one cares about these people except for Kamala Harris, right? I gotta go ahead and mark this down. Right? Look at that couple of Republicans on my side that no one likes.
Yeah. So you've hit on a really important point and expressed it, I think, so well, which is he is achieving his intended effect to make you scared. He is running full time on a campaign that is about instilling fear, not about hope, not about optimism, not about the future, but about fear. And so this is yet another example. Look what he did in saying that those legal immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, were eating their pets. And by the way, the hypocrisy of it abounds because on the issue of immigration, let's be clear, some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress, working with others, came up with a border security bill, which was the strongest, toughest border security bill in a long, long time. Trump got word that that bill was afoot, knew it would fix the problem, and told his buddies in Congress to kill the bill. And you know why? Because he would prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And he's running his campaign in a way that he does these rallies where people, by the way, walk out, and does these rallies to try and instill fear around an issue where he actually could be part of a solution, but he chose not to because he prefers to run on a problem instead of fix a problem. And we got to call it out and see it for what it is.
But doesn't the Biden administration have to take some blame for the border, though? A lot of the blame? Because, I mean, the first 3 years, y'all did get a lot of things wrong with the border.
No, Charlamagne, within hours of being inaugurated, the first bill we passed before we did the Inflation Reduction Act, before we did the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act, before we did the Safer Communities Act to deal with gun violence, first thing we dropped was a bill to fix the broken immigration system, which, by the way, Trump did not fix when he was president.
I can't believe Kamala Harris is actually saying this. Donald Trump is running a campaign of fear, despite the fact that she is on TV every day saying that Donald Trump wants to have control over a woman's body. He's going to destroy democracy. He's going to go after his political opponents if he's elected. He's going to be a dictator on day one. That's an awful lot of fear mongering, Kamala. And then she's going to try to make the case that, oh, she's actually the border hawk. She's the one who's actually going to fix the problem. And she touts out the same repeated line over and over and over again that, yes, they had this bill that sucked, by the way, that would allow 2 million illegals into this country every single year. And somehow that was going to fix the problem. And who's the most widely affected by this, by the way? The black communities, right? We have video upon video of people in Chicago, in Detroit, in New York, all complaining about how all of their resources are being taken away and given to illegal immigrants. But Kamala Harris is going to sit there and try to say, oh, I actually have the solution. It was all Donald Trump's fault. He stopped the bill. And also, by the way, on day one, apparently, instead of undoing those 90 some odd executive orders that kept the country safe, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden actually had a plan, but it didn't get through the Congress. Oh, boo-hoo. But I will give Charlamagne a little bit of credit for actually coming out and saying, hey, wasn't this like yours and Biden's problem for like 3 years? Why didn't you do anything about it? Right? But Kamala Harris, of course, going to kung fu that, spin it around and say, oh, nope, all Donald Trump. We totally would have secured the border if not for that meddling Donald Trump. And so everything in this town hall did not go to advance her at all. And really, it's just going to be to her detriment, showing how ineffectual she is, showing how radical she is, and of course, showing how she has no solutions to any of the actual problems we're facing here in America. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you.